Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Punch, Kick, Choke Chat. I want to say how excited I am tonight. It's 5 p.m. here in Toronto. We're starting earlier because our guest is in Europe, and I'm seeing a lot of the names that are coming up who are logging in for the live viewership of the show. And it makes me so excited because that's always been the point of this show, especially during this pandemic, which is that we link each other, but not just across a city or two where we'd normally be training, but quite literally across the Atlantic Ocean and beyond. So I'm so excited that some of you are joining us for the first time, and to everybody who's returning, it's such a pleasure that you found us at the earlier time. My name's Sean Benson. I'm one of your hosts. And every week it falls upon me as a great honor to introduce Sensei Nicholas Suino. And his fundamental qualifications within the martial arts: he's an 8th degree black belt in the Aikido, a 6th degree black belt in jujitsu, a 6th degree black belt in judo. And one of the things I was chatting with Sensei Dauphin while training about this weekend is his Iaido style, Muso Jikiden Nishin Ryu, is peerless direct transmission. And one of the things that we were talking about is the idea of, learning from a book, learning from a YouTube video these days versus direct transmission, and how absolutely fundamental that is. And when I think of somebody like Sensei Suino, I think of somebody who, as you know, has been to Japan years on end, 4 years unbroken, and many times since. And this is a human from whom I hope to gain nothing but direct transmission, and who I know would value time in a room with you as a martial artist for an hour more than 1,000 hours of your YouTube videos. Sensei Suino, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great, Sean. Thank you so much for that introduction. I love that. I love you teeing up that topic. You know, my training for 4 years running was to go to my teacher's house in Tokyo, where he had a small dojo. We would sit down, we'd have a cup of tea or coffee, then we'd put on our Iaido gear, and for 3 hours, he would do a form and then sit down and he would watch me do a form. If it was okay, he would do the next one. If it wasn't okay, he'd make a correction, and I would do it again. Rain or shine, hot or cold, right? There's no experience like that. Being in a room with somebody who ended up being a Meijin 10th Dan, right? One of the most incredible human beings I've ever met. It's an incredible experience, and truly embodies that idea that you talked about of direct transmission. There's no other way, which is so cool because I'm here with people that I've worked with in both directions, right? Hanshi Legacy and Randy Dauphin have taught me karate. I've been in the same room with them. I've been punched in the face by you, Sean. So all good, a good pedigree here. And I've taught you guys some Iaido too. Martial arts forms well, friendships form well. And I've been struggling lately to describe the relationship you get when you start training with somebody. For example, maybe you're 10 years older than them, maybe you're 20 years older than them, and you start training, and 10 years later, you're still training together. 20 years later, you're still training. I don't know what to call that. The only thing to call it is a student-sensei relationship, but at some point it becomes a friendship. And I'm using that to tee up my introduction to Randy. As you guys, as most of us know, and maybe our new viewers don't know, Randy's a 7th Dan in Shorin-ryu Karate and a 3rd Dan in Eishin-ryu Iaido. He's multi-time world champion and just an all-around badass. And the reason I say that is because every time we get together, we train very, very hard. We talk about a lot of different subjects, and we don't just train hard in the martial arts. We're both into fitness, so lifting and things like that. And even though I work out more than the average human being probably should, whenever Randy tells me his latest workout, which he told me on our phone call a few days ago, I'm always astonished that a human being can do what he does, because it's always 225-pound bar for 7,000 repetitions, and then I run 47 miles and while drinking a beer. I mean, it's just amazing. I'm joking, but the workouts are insane. And you can't do that unless you start here and you get better and better and better over time. You got to build your levels up. You can't walk in and do that, which is so similar to what all of us do in the martial arts, right? You start as a beginner, you get a yellow belt, a green belt, a brown belt. But to get to high levels of black belt, you have to scaffold it on all the other stuff that comes before that. So Randy, it's great to see you. Sean, thanks for that introduction. From here, I'm going to kick it over to you.
Thanks, Sensei. That was great. And I want to say I really enjoyed our conversation the other day. It was so nice. Like an hour and a half flew by. I just couldn't believe that an hour and a half had gone by. But I really enjoyed that. and I also agree with your comments completely about incremental progress. You know, when you walk in as a white belt or you walk in initially, you can make exponential progress, but at some point for everybody that slows down, right? That learning starts to slow down, and then you have to be satisfied with being here for decades. And, you know, Sensei Legacy often says, if you go somewhere, like if you travel to Belgium and you train with Hanshi Sailly, you're going to get a bunch of stuff. But if you get only one thing, that was a trip well served. Like if you go all that way and you learn one valuable thing that you can put into your martial arts, that's a good trip to take. And that's an impactful trip. So thanks, Sensei, for that reminder. I always introduce Hanshi Legacy, and it was kind of funny last time because he said, stop saying all that stuff. And then I said, he doesn't want me to say all these things, but I think I've convinced them that I have to say these things because we never know who's going to log into which episode. But so Hanshi Legacy is a 10th Dan, and he was awarded that rank by his teacher, Anthony Sandoval. He's an author. He's a member of the Canadian Black Belt Hall of Fame. His senseis have been Harold Warden, Benny Allen, Richard Kim, Anthony Sandoval, and also Nicholas Suino is Sensei Legacy's Iaido sensei. And I always release some information about Sensei Legacy. One is just something I don't think we've talked about too much before, but Sensei Legacy is all in, especially when his teacher asks him to do something, and he learns from those things. And the one thing was when he was being graded to his black belt by his teacher, Benny Allen, he made the mistake of saying, is that it? You don't want me to like walk to China on my hands or something like that? And he said, okay, come on over here if you want to do something. You see this maple tree that's about like this big around? I want you to punch this tree as hard as you possibly can. So he didn't even think about it. He just cracked the tree as hard as he could because he's all in, right? Like your teacher tells you to do something, you're going to do it. Hey, Hanshi Legacy, do you want to put your hand up to the camera so that everybody can
really? You want to prove how stupid I am?
Well, that's a matter of opinion, right? That's right. So all in, right? And you'd think it would end there, but no, Benny Allen said, well, you did that one for you. Now come over here and do one for me. Get on your hands and knees and start punching into the ground. And when you get up to your elbow, I'll give you your black belt. Well, he didn't go up to his elbow, but at a certain point, Benny Allen said, you're crazy. Don't do that. You already had your black belt. I already gave it to you. And that's a lesson that he's passed along. And that's a lesson that I take from that is that, number one, if your teacher says you're something, whether you think you are or not, you probably are. You should trust them. If you've trusted them all this way, you should trust them then too. And I think Sensei Legacy learned that lesson in a different way, that he's carried that forward with him through his whole life. The one thing I want to say about Sensei Legacy is, I was thinking about this. We talked about it actually today, earlier. I said, when I walked in the dojo, I knew nothing. I knew nothing about martial arts, nothing, not one thing. And he opened every door and showed me every single thing. If you see me doing anything, I learned it from him, right? So I'm super grateful for that, because I often say, like, he gave me this life that I could not. How do you stumble across a life like this? You can't stumble across a life like this. Somebody has to help you and show you. And he's always been that person for me. And the other thing I want to say to everybody is, if you're in between teachers or you want to supplement your training, you should really reach out to Hanshi Legacy or Sensei Suino. These are people who will train you. Like, if you need help with stuff, they're available, and it's their passion and life's mission to help push this along. And Hanshi Sailly, I'm not sure where he went to. Oh, there he is. I thought he was going I thought you were going for some wine, Hanshi.
No, I want to plug it because he go very fast. 1 second.
Oh, I know what you mean. You don't want your computer to die.
Because he goes so fast, the power goes so fast. So I have to plug again. Voila, energy is back.
Okay, Hanshi. So my introduction for Hanshi Sailly is, you know, I always talk about education. I'm a valuer of education. He has a physical education degree from the Sports University in Vichy. He is the vice president ambassador of World Kobudo. He's a 9th degree black belt. He, like Sensei Suino and many people on this call, started martial arts as a youth. He was 5 years old when he started in Judo. He is now a master of Goshindo, the way of self-defense, which is something that he founded. And it blends aikido, karate, judo, grappling, jujitsu, and it combines all those things in a very unique way that helps people to improve their flow, coordination, strength, flexibility. And the one thing I really like about it is that he says it helps to promote your mental calm. That's something that is very good, I think. Every year he travels to over 30 countries teaching and spreading his skills across the world. And then for me, when I think about Hanshi Sailly, who I've had the opportunity to train with a couple of times and interact with quite a bit lately, one of the things that speaks to his character, I think, is if you don't realize in Belgium right now, it's 11 p.m. And when we approached him and asked him to do this show, he said, no, it's okay. Do it at your regular time, which means he would have been getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning and doing the interview between 2 and 4 a.m. And that's the kind of person that he is. He's willing to do the work at the time that you ask him to do it. I really value that. I was kind of thinking, what am I going to say about Hanshi Sailly? And then I thought about the one seminar I attended in New York at Shihan Bill Adams' dojo. And I'm going to tell you that his seminars are educational and they're really fun. And that's because he's super skilled and he's a really fun person to be around. When you're around Hanshi Sailly, you're going to be having a good time on the floor and off the floor. The times that I trained with him, I found him to be technically superior. And as I said, fun. He has great technique. And he's superior at all the ranges. So he's a great striker. If you start to clinch with him, he can clinch. And if you go to the ground, you're going to be probably in trouble down there too. And oddly, he's also not a small man. He could do all those things and he's big. And quoting Sensei Legacy, if all things are equal, the bigger man will win. And if you're in front of Hanshi Sailly, it's probably not equal and he's bigger. Right? So you gotta, I find him to be a very open and charismatic instructor. I remember when I trained with him, I committed myself completely to what he was teaching, even though I didn't know him at the time. And it's because of the person that he is and the instructor that he is that you can commit so easily to what he's doing. I remember when he was teaching, there was a great deal of energy, lots of sweat, and lots of joy in the room. And he was right there with us, doing it with us, sweating with us, smiling with us while we were doing what he was teaching us to do. The other thing I like about Hanshi Sailly is he chooses to find the similarities in martial arts, not the differences between the people. He chooses to find the things that are the same and that bond us together. And the other thing I liked is on one of our first meetings on Zoom, when I had a drink of beer, he picked up his glass of wine and he said, "Randy, you're my man," right? So that is my introduction for Hanshi Sailly tonight. And I'm really super excited to be chatting with you tonight, Hanshi.
Thank you.
Thank you so
very
much. I'm just going to do some quick housekeeping notes for everybody, and then I want to get to this interview as quickly as possible myself. First off, this is called Punch, Kick, Choke, Chat. You're watching adults have a conversation. If you don't like any of the content, you should, fear for your life because there might be some stuff coming and in French. You might hear some new swear words tonight. I'll leave that up to Sensei Sailly. But if you have a problem with the English stuff, wait till you hear it in French. Also, we want your questions. You've logged in real time. We really appreciate it, very genuinely. And there's a bar along the bottom that Robert will highlight for us. It says chat. If you kick in there, we've already got a question that's come in. That helps us with our interview. We hope we can get to all of them. You want to ask those soon because as we get into our conversations, we can often just lose time. We are recording live on YouTube, which is a new platform we're accessing. So we appreciate your support on that. Open a new laptop and run it right beside you. Do stereo viewing, so you get the Zoom and the YouTube pleasure. And the last thing I want to say is that I'm going to say a little something from our sponsor, which we're really excited about. Hi, this is Don Warner from WarnerEntertainment.com. We're proud to be one of the sponsors of Punch, Kick, Choke, Chat. We encourage you to visit our website at WARRENER entertainment.com and get your free copy of Warriors Magazine today. We've got over 2,500 items, including books, DVDs, downloads, rare posters, and lots more, featuring some of the biggest names in the martial arts: Shotokan's Hirokazu Kanazawa, Goju-Ryu's Chuck Merriman, Ninja Stephen Hayes, legendary Joe Louis. That's just the beginning. That's WarnerEntertainment.com, WARRENER. Thanks for listening and keep smiling. I just heard my own voice in there. Do we have an echo? Are we good technically?
It was there for a minute. It's gone now.
Okay, sweet.
It's my fault. I just wanted to see the YouTube YouTube live while we're doing this.
That is so cool. I love it. All right, we're amping up our engagements. I love it. That's it for all our housekeeping, everybody. Sensei Sailly, thank you so much for being here. How are you this evening?
Hello, hello.
Hello.
It's me. Okay, how are you, everybody around the world, in Canada, USA, and Europe? Okay, I'm very happy to be part of this conversation, this meeting, this small conference, and to meet so talented people around me is fantastic. I'm waiting your questions.
That's great. The pleasure is all ours. And the first thing I'll start with is there anything you want to say about the World Martial Arts Live? I'll throw that to Sensei Dauphin as well. Is there? I know that's a way we're all going to connect very soon.
Yes, I think we have very bad time at this moment. The COVID around the world is terrible for everybody. And the dojo, they are amateur or professional, they have big problem. So we were thinking with Hanshi Therien what we can do to create the hope, to dynamize the student, to stimulate the student, to create again enthusiasm, because we lose a lot of students and we want they come back to the dojo as soon as possible when we see the end of the tunnel. And pop, in one moment, Hanshi Therien is fabulous. You know, he don't have one brain. I think he has the brain of 10 people. You know, he say we have to do something special, and he come with wow, live marathon, Budo marathon, 24 hours around the world. I was like, yeah, wow. And I see already how it will be a little bit, you know, but it's a big action. And Randy is also part of the organization to help us to build these things. And with a lot of groups, we want to make no politics. Of course, World Kobudo is in front, but we want to have all the group, different kind of martial art, different kind of style, master, champion, legend will be on this live show. Every hour, 4 teachers will teach, and the student can pick one of the teacher and follow them during about 45 minutes. It will be amazing, and we have already so much dojo say yes, I need it. I need for my student. It's so important, and they recommend also the action to the other dojo.
Amazing. I'm going to throw that to Sensei Dauphin. You wanted to add a little something to that, Sensei?
Yeah, just it's interesting how a year ago we started this platform together, the 4 of us, Punch, Kick, Choke, Chat, and now this platform has led to something that's really helping the community globally. Right. So this World Martial Arts Live, working with these people has been great. Like, we're working together to do this. And I guess, you know, Ontario just went into another lockdown for 28 days. The dojos are all now closed again. And I think this is more important than ever, because where we used to maybe compete with each other and squabble for students, now we just need our market to exist. Like, we just need this market to continue on. We don't want to be in the demise of an industry here. And we need to work together, and we need to show people that there really is a global community here. It's not just in Canada. You might think you're only in Kitchener, but no, it's in Japan, it's in Australia, it's in Belgium, it's in Germany, it's in Sweden, it's in Finland, it's in England. We have strength across the world, and we're going to see this at this event.
Thanks, Sensei. So Sensei Sailly, I really appreciate that. And let's get back to you specifically. Let's get back to you as a child. Tell us about what it was like, where you grew up, and what brought you into that first judo dojo, and what kept you there.
I was living in the north of France in a small village. 4,000 people live in this place, you know. And my father was a sportsman. In one moment, he say, okay, he was practicing judo first, you know. And in one moment, he say, oh, you come with me in the dojo. And I was 5 years old. And I arrived in the dojo. You know, a dojo, it was a big name. You know, it was a place with tatami in rice, you know. Tatami was like bang, 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 very hard, okay? When you fall, you know, you remember the first ukemi you make, you know. And I was the only small child like this. Most of the time, it was adult and children together training. And it was my first experience with judo. And my father was my first teacher. And there is 3 teachers in this place. The big teacher, Claude Frénois, my father, and another man. And during years and years, we practiced together, and it was so much fun. I was waiting every day. We were training 2 times a week, and I was waiting, oh, wait, the next one, the next one, the next one. It's so important. And what I remember especially with my father have always a clean gi, always very clean, smell good. And when my father show us the techniques on the floor, sometimes he take me like partner, like uke, and he grabbed me and explained to everybody and like this. And I remember my feeling was fantastic between the arm of my father. You know, I was smelling his sweat and the kimono sweat, you know, and I was feeling like I am in a nest, you know, and comfortable. It was so nice. It's the first things I remember really in martial arts. This comfort time moment in martial arts. And of course, all the training, but the training was not like we do now. The pedagogy was not the best pedagogy in the world, but I remember this dojo, they tell us we was the stronger, you know, strangulation, okay? Because when we fight, we strangle everybody. Everybody was stronger. When we was fighting, we was the killer stranglers. It was the first big things I remember when I was fighting and when I was doing judo. After that, the dojo, a few years later, when I was 12 years old, the dojo closed because the main teacher, go away. And we move in another place and we start another dojo with Mr. Jacques Quero, Sensei Jacques Quero. And this person gave me the fighting spirit. He was a very good technician and a good trainer. And he gave me really the knowledge I need to fight, you know, because we study, of course, the technique in judo, but he gave me his trick to have the fighting experience. After that, sorry? Yeah.
I just want to chip in with 2 quick questions about that. One is, you mentioned the pedagogy is not the same then as now. So what would you say is the difference? And what was the difference between that first dojo's fighting, which wasn't quite fighting, and the second one where you combined technique and it was finally fighting?
I think at this moment, the people don't have the knowledge like what is a child, what can do a child. He can do push-up or not push-up. It is good for his spine or not. You understand? The aerobic or non-aerobic exercise, you know, all these things, the physiology of the people. So it was not, they don't take care about that. Okay, it was go, sweat. But when you are the tongue here, you know, they say, hey, okay, you can stop. You know, it was this type of pedagogy. Go, give maximum, always. I say, if we train our student now like I was training, we will have 2 students, 3 students, maybe. You know, it was a complete other world. Yes. And also the pedagogy is, I am a physical training teacher. So for me, it was very important. Every time I teach now, I try not only to show a technique, but I try to make the best way for my student, they understand the principle of the technique. And inside the technique, maybe this is a rotation, maybe it's a pivot, maybe it's a movement with your body. So if you say, make this movement, yes, but you have maybe to precise an exercise, they understand this movement. And after that, you put this exercise inside the technique. Like this, the technique is better after. No? So the pedagogy was also something very, very important for me. It is very important for me. It's very, very important.
And that second sensei, when you were 12, what did they show you that made it more fighting?
The teacher was a very good technician, so he was showing me a little bit more the value of the breaking the balance, how tsukuri, kuzushi, and everything, you know, and the timing and the way to give more the technique, like uchikomi, you know, it was a little bit more all these things, you know, and develop a movement, a special, like you see, a special technique, and not only one special technique and say, try to do it, but try to do this technique in a different version. If the guys have his foot in front, in the foot in back, if we move on the side, if we move front, if we move back, you know, after that, if I want to make my favorite technique, maybe I do a technique before you have a reaction, and I do my favorite technique after, you know. It was all these things we developed a concept technique very, very, very big, and it was very strong for me. And every year after that, I was developing one special technique. Because most of the time, a judo guys, he have one technique, and during 5-6 years, he make always this technique, you know. If we see Fuji, for example, in Japan, this guy was world champion with Maroteaux. Okay, he was 2-time world champion. He stopped a little bit. Okay, he come back a few years later. Okay, he come back world champion again with Maroteaux. It's fabulous, because everybody know he was doing Maroteaux and he took Maroteaux. You know, it was really, really special. Like the Japanese just passed away, Koga. It was fantastic guys also. We know everybody know what Koga is doing, but he was winning with his movement. I was not a Koga, I was not a Fuji, so I have to be a little bit more active. And so I have in one moment 6 or 7 special techniques. So if one was not working on, or if my fighter, my opponent, no, Sailly is doing this movement, so maybe he trained the counter, you know, but I can deliver all the things if I have a problem. Voila. It was the things Mr. Carroll gave me at this time when I was 12, 13, 14, 15.
Well, I love that. And I love that your answer to fighting is technique. And also, I just want to throw this to Sensei Suino, who I see really nodding along with basically everything you're saying. Sensei Suino, is there anything you want to add or comment on or ask?
Hanshi Sailly, isn't it amazing that you have these memories from when you were 12 years old that change your understanding of judo for your lifetime. I remember my first day in a judo dojo. I can tell you exactly what happened, right? I was 8 years old. It's amazing to me. I'd love to hear some more memories. If you have one or two more things that you learned when you were 12, what else did you see then?
You know, I was like a sponge, I think. This moment was so extra. So I was so enthusiastic. When you are enthusiastic, you develop your memory. I think it's why in the pedagogy you have to pull the starter of your student and create the enthusiasm. It is our mission. Put the starter and enthusiasm. And if everybody starts with a smile and you see the eyes, gling, 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 okay, for sure you cap the attention and for sure you will have better results for your student. So it's maybe why I think I have a good memory of this time. And at the same time, when I was 13, I started jujitsu. The name was more taijitsu at this moment, but after that it was jujitsu. And I practiced traditional jujitsu, Koryu jujitsu, Daitoryu jujitsu. It was more this type of traditional style, Japanese style. And after that, when I was 15, yes, the teacher go away because you have to move family. And so we have a dojo with 160 judo people, and we have 60, 70 jujitsu people. And I was the black belt, and the president say, wow, we need a teacher. Alain, you have to take care about these people. Say, whoa, 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 whoa. I am 15, 16, you know, it's young, I know nothing, you know. But the president said, we will help you. Okay, you will travel to meet different teacher, and we will give you knowledge with this teacher, and please, let's go. So I start to travel, to go to see different teacher, and I see one of the person in England. It was Mr. Morris. Mm. And Mr. Morris, he died a few years ago. It was a fantastic person, a sense of humor, technician, rough technique, you know, and he was part of the World Kobudo Federation at this time. And I study with him. I meet different other teachers from Germany, from Belgium, from different other people around the world. And every one time a month, I went in a seminar. My father take his 2 Citroën, the 2 chevaux Citroën, okay, and he drive me to Italy, Spain, Belgium, Germany, Austria, England to teach 2 days, 3 days, and not to teach, to study 2, 3 days, and after that I'm coming back. Okay, and next week it was a competition, and after that competition again, and next week a seminar. It was like this, and I was coming back home, and I was teaching what I have seen during years and years and years. So the evolution of Goshindo a little bit is not. I don't develop exactly something. I don't create something. I make an evolution for myself. It was working for me, you know, because when you come back from England, and in England they say, okay, your guard is like this. You come back to another teacher, the guy say is here. Another one is like this. Another one is like this. Another one is like this. Like this. Okay, which one I will take in one moment? You know, I have to change my guard because I study one technique like this every time. No, for me, in one moment I say, okay, I have to take a guard. It go for me, and I need I need to have a basic. We speak a lot of time about basic in martial arts, in karate, in every martial art. Come back to the basic, come back to the basic. Okay. It was very important for me also to build my way with good, strong basic. And I built this, and after that, when you have these basic things, you can put every kind of technique inside. It's not a problem. My body, it was possible to kick, to throw, to turn, to do everything. So no, I don't refuse technique. I say, okay, come on, we do for self-defense. Okay, Goshindo, the way to protect your body, your way of self-defense, of human self-defense. Okay, so let's go. Give me.
So
I take.
I love this, and I love the idea that, you know, ever since you were young, travel was such a part of your journey, and then now you travel to give back what you've learned. And the one thing I want to ask you, when you mentioned basics, I know within a karate mindset what we would call the 10 basics. What do you consider your basics? If somebody said, what are your basics that I need to know based on what the Goshindo is, what would you describe those as?
But number one, I think you have to respect your body language. We have a style of position of your back, of your body, okay? So you have to respect your body language, number one for me, okay? Number two, we have legs, and most of the time we don't make enough work with our legs. My legs are the very important things, okay? I like to move with my legs. My back stays straight. I can go down, but my back stays always straight, okay? It's very important. The stability, but stability mobile. I would say stability mobile, what's mean? Yes, somebody come to push you, you can go, have a mobile and stability. Oh, I receive. Oh, what is this? Okay, it's the things I like. After that, relax. Relax your body. Your body have to be not tense always, but relax. And on the moment you need, you go, you make the create the explosion. Okay, create what you need on the right moment. After that is the big, I will say the big basic things in one word. But respect your body. Your body is fabulous. We are a fantastic machine, okay? And with this machine, we have to keep the substance, prepare for the techniques.
Sensei Suino, I don't know if this is your night because I just see you grinning there. Is there anything you want to chip in on? Because I really appreciate I love seeing you light up like this.
Well, there's two reasons. One is my wife just took lasagna out of the oven. And the other reason is I just love these basics. So respect your body, use your legs, move quickly and decisively, stay relaxed. If you were building a system without foreknowledge of martial arts, those are so many of the core principles you'd want.
Yep. And Sensei Dauphin, again, I see you nodding along and just really taking that in. Is there anything you want to add to that idea and relating to how we move a little more?
Well, I mean, you have to have a foundation. You can't build something without foundation. And I guess your body has to be that foundation if you're a martial artist. It has to be, right? How do you, unless you're Yoda or something, it'd be great to be Yoda, but I'd still want to look like me. The thing that I found interesting, Sean, when Hanshi Sailly was talking about, it reminded me of Leo. It reminded me of Daryl Hennigan. It reminded me, and that these people, nobody's a self-made man. He's talking about he had an opportunity, his passion for martial arts. Other people recognize that. Well, he wasn't traveling per se. He was being taken to these places by other people. Leo talked about that too, right? Leo Laux talked about how he was a little kid and he just got stuffed into the back seat of a car and dragged around to all these things because he just had potential and he was super excited about it. Mm-hmm. So that's something that resonates with me with what Hanshi Sailly is saying. Like, for me, it's the same thing. That's kind of the impetus of this show, right? So many times I just was sitting in the back seat of Sensei Legacy's car Well, he was driving somewhere with somebody, and I just got to listen while they were talking, and I learned so much.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned more when I got there.
Thanks, Sensei. So I've got a question before we go to our 10 questions. And then I've got a question as well from Robert, who's behind the scenes on this show. So I'm really excited about the next three moments here. The first one, Sensei Sailly, is from Dan Fletcher. And he just simply wants me to ask you how you're enjoying the Smit Pulen beer.
Always good. You know, it's a good, two things together. It's very, very nice. Okay, I have this pleasure when I travel around the world to meet so nice people, really nice people. We receive a fantastic welcome, and I have so many stories about that. Some people, sometimes, you know, in Canada there is some snow sometimes. You know, and sometimes it's cold, you know, and when you have a good training, you know, and it's the training is finished, you know, it's snowing, it's minus, I don't know how much, you know, and you have the guy say, you open a spa outside, the snow come, and you go in the spa with a tuc, like the Québécois say, and you have your glass of wine, and it's 11 o'clock evening. Say, wow. It is a special moment, or in a swimming pool, or in a sauna, or around a nice fire. It's amazing. I want to say thank you to everybody for the right good moment you give me for the last 30, 40 years. Thank you.
You know, it's a privilege to be able to host this and to sort of say to the viewer, to point out what I see. And when I see your excitement at training and that moment where you go and lighting up your students' eyes, but also your excitement at the post-training and enjoying the snowfall or the drink, it's beautiful. I don't drink, but if anybody's tuning in, they'll think I'm drinking moonshine, which I kind of like. I mean, if you're gonna, it's an empty jar. So we ask all of our guests the 10 questions. These are the 10 questions that we've decided we'd like to know what everybody thinks. So answer impulsively and then expand as you wish. Sensei, what is the most effective move in your martial arts arsenal?
The most effective move. It depends if I speak about judo, jujitsu, it depends, wrestling, you know, sambo, it depends. I want to say in judo, it was Uchimata. Okay, I think it was my favorite, one of my favorite movements. In jiu-jitsu, what I love is when the person want to attack is go inside. You attack me, I go with you. Let's go. It is my favorite things. Go.
And who is the most?
Yes. No, let's go. Continue.
Who's the most influential martial artist in your life?
Oh, and this moment, I want to say is a person he listened to me, is Hanshi Therien. Okay, when I meet this man, he make a big change on my life, really a big change. I think he put me what I am now. Okay, I remember in 1976. John Therien was coming in France with a Canadian team. And I remember because I received some books, you know, a review, you know, and we see Jean-Yves Thériault, John Therien, and we see. And my teacher at this time, my teacher in martial arts was Monsieur Roland Maroteaux, okay, in hakko and Daito, and he was giving the name Goshindo on what we were doing. And John Therien was coming to Europe to see Dominique Valera and Roland Maroteaux. And I say to my father, wow, it's fantastic. John Therien is coming. Wow, we will go. And he was doing a seminar in Alsace. And my father said, you have an examination next week. He say, you in the school, you don't go. What? I say, hey, it's John Therien. Papa, please. I say, no. So I don't see John Therien. My friend go to see and say, oh, it was fantastic. And, And few years later, yeah, a lot of few years later, I have the possibility to go to Canada to go to a seminar in Toronto. And just 1 year before in Guernsey, I see two students of John Therien, Hanshi Therien. It was Mr. Bernard Ladouceur and another person. And when I see John Therien in Toronto, okay, we give the hand, and at the moment we touch the hand, it was like a magic contact. It was something like a nice energy. It was something really good. And she said, you are a talented person. Say, you know a lot of things. Okay, I will help you, but I ask you one thing. She said, never change your personality. Stay like you are. Okay, and it was like a marriage. So a nice combination, I think, is my mentor, is my best friend, and I learned so much with him, and I continue to learn with him.
What a wonderful thing to hear. Who do you think is the most influential martial artist of all time, and why?
In my time?
All time, your time, however you want to take that.
I want to say one thing was very important on my time. It was Bruce Lee, of course. Bruce Lee, when I see the first movie of Bruce Lee, it was like, wow, what is this? Okay. Oh, of course, when you come back home, you take the ballet. I don't know, when you clean the floor, I take and I make a nunchaku, of course. With that, my mother find a smaller tool. Of course, it was fantastic. It was a great person for me to give me to continue to train. Yes, it was a revolution for me.
What excites you most about your next 5 years of training?
The next 5 years? The next 5 years for me is to continue to take care about myself, to take care about my body, to take care about what I have to continue to stay in shape, we say, okay? Not to learn a new technique, or I think technique in one moment is not very important, but more like, again, in pedagogy, how I will be better teacher. How my mission is to be a better teacher, because I teach is my job, okay? And I want to be a better teacher, so I want to have a better pedagogy way. It will be for not only the 5 years, the rest of my life. Take care about myself, because I want to be an example, and also to be a good pedagogue.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you get there?
Welcome.
That's exactly what Sensei Legacy said.
and I hope you have a good beer.
You may have answered this, but who is your favorite film and television martial artist?
I want to say I'm not crazy about that. I was more crazy when I was younger to see these things, but I like Jet Li. I like Jet Li. What can I say? I like the action of Jason Statham. Yeah, voilà. I like these guys. Yeah, voilà. Yeah. I think one guy is not really a martial artist at the beginning, but I think he make a good job. It's the what is his name exactly? He makes 3 movies a week.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves.
Voilà, Ken is real. Voilà.
Yeah.
I think I have a good, I like what he do, because he's not a martial artist for a long time, but he work hard to do what he do.
That's my favorite. I love your answer. What martial artist, living or dead, in all time, would you like to train with the most?
One more time the questions, please.
What martial artist, alive or dead, would you like to train with the most?
You know, I like everything in one way. You know, when I was in Japan in 1978, the first time, we was 3 guys, and we have a backpack, and we do during 2 months the tour of Japan. Okay, we take the lowest train because it was not expensive, but it takes so much time. We have not enough money to sleep in a hotel, so we was in a youth hostel, and one time the week we sleep outside, and we sleep in sometime in a dojo, you know, and what can I say? We was training everything. We go in the city, we say, what type of martial art it is here? Oh, judo here, okay, we go. Oh, here, Shorinji Kempo, okay, Shorinji Kempo. We do sumo also. We go in a club of sumo and we do some sumo. We go aikido, we go different kind of all style of jujitsu. So for us, it was just give us martial art to eat, you know, practice. Yes. So I like everything.
If everyone in the world could get your greatest benefit from martial arts, what would it be?
I think the benefit of the martial art is all the things between the techniques, I want to say. The techniques is just a way to bring the people to do things. But when you see somebody is coming, is a white belt, is a child or an adult, and he don't look in your eyes, and he's like this, and you build your confidence step by step. You build his confidence, okay? And I think, wow, you win. When you see the person is not respectful, and after that, step by step, he comes and he say, please, thank you, and oh, excuse me, and everything. Wow, you build another student. Okay, it's all the value, you know, everybody, and we make the publicity of martial art around this value. Honesty, courage, confidence, all these these things. I think we have to continue to do this, and we have to continue to push. When a child is coming, is always the best, beautiful baby in the world. Papa, mama have this child. The baby grown up, okay? And sometimes the parents have a problem with education, okay? And this child go to the school, and sometimes the teacher in the school don't give sometimes the right things of education also. And sometimes you will receive these people. How many times the parents come to see me and say, oh, the doctor say, my child is like this, like this, like this, put him in martial art, it will be good. So we are the last things, okay, to build this person before to put him in the life of the adults. Okay, and I think it's important. Please continue to make your job of a good teacher, continue to make nice people around you, and the world will be better.
Last 2 questions. Your greatest achievement and your greatest regret.
My great achievement is in the future. I do my best now, but I think the great achievement will be the future in front of me. I have more to do, a lot of more to do with Hanshi John, be ready.
And your greatest regret.
The great what?
Regret.
Regret. Oh, great regret. I cannot have exactly a great regrets. Maybe no Mr. Therien before. Maybe it will be, I think yes, this one. I would like to see John Therien before, because like this we will make more things together, and I will be maybe 15 years more involved.
Thank you for those 10 questions. I'm going to take a moment, Sensei Sailly, and I'm just going to tell everybody, hi, this is Don Warner from WarnerEntertainment.com. WARRENER. We're proud to be one of the sponsors of Punch Kick Choke Chat and encourage you to visit our website at WarnerEntertainment.com. Get your free copy of Warriors Magazine today. We have over 2,500 items, including books, DVDs, downloads, rare posters, lots more, featuring some of the biggest names in the martial arts. Shotokan's Hidekazu Kanazawa, Gojo Ryu's Chuck Merriman, Ninja Stephen Hayes, legendary Joe Louis, and that's just the beginning. That's WarnerEntertainment.com, WARRENER, entertainment.com. Thanks for listening and keep smiling. Before I get to my question, Sensei Dauphin, anything you want to add?
Yeah, just that I remember when I started 32 years ago and you had to try and find martial arts information, it was hard, right? There wasn't an internet. Finding books on the topic was difficult. And now we just have these places. People should be grateful that they just have these places where you can just go punch in information and get some stuff. But just remember, none of that information is going to replace having a great teacher or being in a good community where you can learn things. You're not going to learn your basics out of a book.
I love that, Sensei. Thanks for that reminder. It's true how hard we used to look and use bookstores and scour. And now you can just go to that website and probably find what you need. Very cool. Sensei Sailly, I have a question here from Robert Schlumsky, and then I'm going to add a little bit to his question. So his question, what does it mean for something to be practical in martial arts? How did you decide what should be a part of Goshindo? And what I want to add, because you're one of our first guests who's mentioned Sambo, where did that fit in for you as an art that we haven't overlapped with a lot on this show?
But for me, why I do Sambo in one moment, because the first, I will go like on this way. You know, I was a judo competitioner, and in one moment, I see wrestling, you know, oh, free wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling. And I was in a school and I say to my teacher, sport teacher, oh, there is a competition of wrestling. I say, inscript me. But he say, you never do wrestling. No, but it's not a problem, you know, fighting is fighting, you know. I will look the rules, okay? And I take a dictionary to find wrestling, to see the rules. And we have a big dictionary, and I was looking the rules of wrestling. But the teacher don't put me in a competition. So I don't do wrestling. But few years after, when I studied to be a physical training teacher, it was wrestling place, and Sambo and Judo and boxing and everything. So I start wrestling, free wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling, and I was going in the top in France. And Sambo, I do a very good action also. I beat world champion in Sambo. So it was, for me, no problem. Just give me the rules, and we change the rules, and the movement is the movement. You know, the body, that's it. Let's go.
So I'll come back to Robert's question. Yep.
And I remember also, we were starting also to do kick jitsu, it was the name. It was a little bit the MMA, but not with a cage, but it was kick jitsu. So we punch, kick, and we go on the floor, rumble on the floor and everything. You know?
Sensei Suino, I see you're really connecting with the idea of, you know, the rules are different, the moves are the same.
You're muted, Sensei.
Unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
One of my martial arts heroes is Yamaoka Teshu, and a great swordsman and a great drinker. And when he was 12 years old, they asked him to recite some poems in Japanese, and there was nobody around. He's 12 years old, and he says, I'm not going to do this. That would be stupid. He said, get a bunch of people in the room, give me an audience, and I'm ready to go. And it reminds me of what you just said. there's a wrestling competition. Put me in, coach. Just give me the rules. Let's go. I love that, man. Just let's go. That's terrific.
So Sensei Sailly, what Robert was asking is, how did you decide what was practical to include in Goshindo?
What is practical in self-defense is what
And
you mean?
What made you decide, I want this in Goshindo?
I decide what it was good for me. I was practicing and say, oh, it's good, I take it. It was not, I decide to do it because this. No, I was doing something for me. And because I was doing this type of jujitsu, because the name, it was a jujitsu style Goshindo, okay? The people say, oh, it's a little bit different as what we see before, okay? How you do this, and it was like this. I start to teach the Goshindo. But for me, everything was good for me. Every technique was good. I take it. It's not a problem. Okay, just again with nice basic things, stability, mobile. Okay.
So that leads very nicely to a question from Oscar Morales. I know you have given many seminars to policemen.
Yes.
When you have given a seminar to the police, do you do the same Goshindo as when you train it in a class to martial artists?
Not exactly. Number one, every time if I teach in a police, I ask first what type of rules you have in this country for the police. Because the police in France, the police in Canada, the police in Kazakhstan or in Bulgaria are completely different, you know. So we have to adapt the self-defense in function of the rules of the police. So, but the principle is the same. If you want to be effective, you have to respect the efficiency of the technique like you do in your martial arts. Why we have to change something? Okay, if Kotegaishi is going in your martial art, the Kotegaishi will be good in the police in one way. If I take just this movement, you know, like this. So after that, we have to see the material, how the people have what they have on them. You know, it will be specific for the police.
Thanks for that. And a question from Laura Swick. Hi, Hanshi. It's wonderful to hear your voice. I remember the first time you came to Canada. So much has changed since then. What do you feel is the biggest change in the martial arts from when you started?
I think there is more professional dojo now. As what we have in France, we speak about professional dojo. When I start, it was just association, you know, and everybody have a job beside the martial arts, and they come 1 or 2 times or 3 times a week and have fun in a dojo in one way, you know. But I was surprised when I come in Canada or USA how many professional dojo there are. It's amazing. So I think it's fabulous, but we have to take care about this way, because sometimes you have a professional dojo, very focused, and you have also professional dojo, more like a supermarket of martial arts. Or the McDonald's of martial arts, you understand what I mean? So sometimes it's a little bit, the level are not exactly what I suppose sometimes, you know, big difference between black belt. So it's a little bit some difficulty sometimes, but step by step is why we travel, is why we can give a little bit of substance to everyone and say, oh, look, if you do this could be nice. Oh yeah, okay, thank you. And you see next time you come, the evolution in the quality of technique is better in the dojo. So step by step, we make some change in some dojo. Is nice.
So I'm going to ask you this question, and then I'm going to ask it of Sensei Dauphin as well. What is the thing that will make a dojo have substance versus be a McDonald's? What is a dojo lacking when it's McDonald's, and what does it have when it's legitimate?
You know, number one, I think every teacher have to continue to make in his own evolution. Okay, if a teacher don't go to take also seminars with other teachers to have maybe other technique, or for me more important, another pedagogy, okay, it will be difficult for him to have an evolution of his teaching. So if you are like this, you stay like this. There is not a magic trick, you know, to be like this. The magic trick is put your gi, go to see somebody and learn with somebody. Okay, sweat with somebody. Okay, and when you come back, okay, you have something. And you create some very interesting. You open your mind. Okay, and if you open your mind, you ask questions, and if you ask questions, you give an answer to your student, and you make better students, I think. And it will be quality, and maybe McDonald's will have 1 star in one moment. Michelin star.
Sensei Dauphin, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'll give my thoughts. I'd really like to hear Sensei Legacy's thinking on that too. But for me, I think you need to be in a place where they actually have a system. So number one, they have to have like something to be teaching you. They can't be making it up as they go. And luckily for us, we have something that goes back hundreds or thousands of years. So that's number one. And number two, you have to have a teacher that is going to hold you to high standards of execution for yourself, your highest standard of execution, and not let you cut corners or back out or take a reason or an excuse and make it a reason, right? That's what I think. You need somebody who's going to hold you to task and make you do it. And if you're lucky, like Hanshi Sailly or me or the people on this call, you were always jazzed about it, so it's not a problem. I guess maybe that's what it is too, right, Sean? Is what market are you catering to? You know, is your market elite martial artists who want to be great black belts and want to uphold martial arts and move it forward, or is it somebody who just wants to feel good? They want somebody to tell them that they're good, and they're willing to pay them to tell them that they're good. Really, like, Sensei, what do you think, Sensei? Yeah.
Well, I find you have to have a teacher, because one human being can maybe give 50 years of experience. When you have experience over hundreds of years, that's handed down. They usually work the bad stuff out, even if it's not by the person who invented it, but somebody like Sensei Sailly. He can take that, remold it like he did with Goshindo, and pass that knowledge on. So if he's not in that lineage, if he doesn't learn it from that lineage, there may be many things that would change his decision. Instead of just working it up at this time, there are hundreds and hundreds of years of knowledge that summate every time a new master comes in. Yeah. And it's proven by him.
Thanks, Hanshi. And Sensei Sailly, on this idea, I'd love to ask you, as somebody who I think has a relatively unique perspective on this call because of your travels. You've been to so many countries as both a student and an instructor. What do you see from country to country? Are the martial arts the same, and or is there big differences? And if so, what do you attribute it to?
I go sometime in some country, and like the East country, for example, and we say like the Russia, I will say, yeah, all this country, but they train like I was training. You know, it was the same way of training. The teacher, I remember the first time I go to Russia in Tatarstan Republic, The teacher is here, all the students are in position, they are 8-year-old, you know, but they have the eyes of the killers, you know. And if they move, the teacher comes, hey, don't do this, say, whoa, say, please, don't do that, I am teaching, you know. Yeah, but it's no problem. And the parents are looking and no problem, you can do it. You know, if you do this in your dojo, I think you will have a police technique, I think. Yeah. No, it's a big difference with the different dojo, for sure. I say always, in one moment, I remember when I have my professional dojo, I was teaching and I come back to France and I see what I have seen in Tatarstan. And I say, if I take the 20 guys, young guys from Tatarstan, I put on the tatami, I take my 20 young guys from my place on the tatami, I say, are you ready to fight? I close my eyes, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I open my eyes. There is nobody on my place. I'll stand up for sure. Okay, because they are killers, guys. You know, it was the temperament we have for training before. It's a big difference because they don't have the same style of living as us. You know, I remember the parents bring me the next day a bottle in water, a plastic bottle with milk of the horse. You know. And he say, oh, thank you, you make good job for my child. I give you a bottle of milk of horse. Okay, thank you, you know, it's something strange, you know. And when I quit the place, I have all the students and all the parents, it was 300 people on the station to say bye-bye to me, okay, to take the train, to go back to Moscow, okay. Oh, it was really like, oh, come back, please, come back, come back. Wow, it touched a lot, you know, it was like, wow, they touched my heart, you know.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so there is a big difference for sure. One thing I think is not very good always is to give too much, oh, fantastic, extraordinary, amazing, you know, the guys kick or the guys make a punch, oh, amazing. If you say amazing when the punch is like this, why you want to make a better punch? I say always, oh, it's interesting what you show me. Okay, but maybe we can do something, you know, I give the place for other world as amazing, because if you give amazing right now or fun or super, okay, why you think you open a door to make the student better? I'm not sure. Okay, I think you need to be correct with what you see.
Sensei Dofe, I know you have a question.
Yeah, Hanshi Sailly, I have a question because you've talked a lot about taking things into Goshindo that work for you, right? These work for you and that's why you kept it. But in your teaching, when you move around, do you ever see different body styles and different people and you think, this is not a technique that works for me, but I need to show this person something because I think it would work for them? So, or do you always keep it, or do you modify your techniques to be able to work for somebody else who maybe can't do it the same way as you?
It is the same principle of what is a level of a person. What is a yellow belt? He have it or he don't have it? The guys. What is a level of an orange belt? You have 20 people come white belt. You have a guy is 50 kilo, you have a guy is 120 kilo. Okay, and you have the guys, sportman. Okay, he's a white belt. Okay, one guy is never do martial arts. Okay, one guy is never sport, no sport, you know. Okay, and these people, they are white belts. Okay, they will go to the yellow belt for sure. One will be in yellow belt, 0 is here. Okay, his yellow belt will be here, boom, and then the be here, another one will be here, another one will be here. Because the evolution at the beginning, they don't have the same physical ability. Everybody have a physical ability different. And I think a yellow belt is not a bar and everybody have to jump over the bar, okay? Because the athlete guys, for him, it will be very easy. But the guy is a little bit more heavy or never do sport before, okay? Before we go here, it will take a lot of time, you know? So, but the small progress he do here, maybe is the same as the athlete if he have to pass here. For me, a belt is your own belt. You pass your own belt. Your yellow belt is this, like this. Your yellow belt is here. Another one is here. I feel, for me, the belt, everybody have his own belts to go to take. Or we are not honest, because in one moment we will have the same thing in the black belt level. Okay, and if you want to make the belt level for everybody, the black belt here, some people never will get this black belt, or after 10 years or 20 years, you know. So I think for me, a belt is a personal evolution of his beginning and how he go, of course. And we want to see him, of course, sweating. We want to see him say, "Allez, I repeat again," and I go. You see, because you build not only a technique, you build a character, you build a mental person, okay? And all these things, again, will be important to put all the things he know in martial art, to put it with his family, with his friend, with his job, with his life. Look, the COVID, okay? I speak with different dojo about the life marathon Budo, you know? And I see some teacher, oh, like this. No, you are a martial artist, come on. You don't have to be like this, you know, the COVID is here, okay? But show me you are a martial artist. Show me what you learned during 20, 30, 40 years about martial art and put it in this situation, because now is a fight, okay? How many times you fight in the street against the bad guy, you want to take your money? Okay, allez, maybe one time it's happened, one guy's, you understand? But what is the terrible things? It is all the things you will have in your life. You go to the doctor and say, "Hey, doctor, hello, how are you?" And the doctor look at you and say, "You know, sir, you have something here is not very correct. The name is cancer." Wow, okay, yes, you have to fight now against these things, you know? And put all the things you learn in martial art to all the effort and put it at this moment, because your life is here. You go to your job, to your boss, and the boss say, "You know, at this moment, we have no job for you." "But I just buy a house, I just buy a new car." "Yeah, but it's not my problem." Okay, hey, put your martial arts inside and say, "Okay, I am now to do." You receive a call. "Hello, bonjour, oui. Your brother have a car accident, he's dead." Oh, okay, no, yes, you are of course sad and everything, but now you have to be strong for the other brother or your mama or the papa and everything. And I think it's the same thing in the COVID. You are a martial art artist. Come on, show me, put what you know at this moment in martial art inside and say, "Yes, I will do this." Okay? I say sometimes to the dojo, "Hey, you know, we do this marathon Budo live. It's fantastic for your student." "Yes, but I lose my student." "Yes, but if you do nothing, you will lose everybody. Come on. Okay, react. Let's go. Come on. Enthusiasm. Okay." And well, I think we do martial arts for this type of situation and not waiting the bad guy try to steal my money.
I feel really lucky for everyone who just got to hear that. Truly. Sensei Suino, you were talking about that just before the call. Do you want to add to that, or do you want to amplify anything there?
When we cycle around at the end, I want to make a couple comments about that. Thank you.
Okay, great. That's where we're at, everybody. We're at that time of the night where we go around Sensei Sailly, and each of us will comment on our time with you. And then the last word, other than a little housekeeping right at the end, will go to you. So Hanshi Legacy, what would you like to say about our evening, if anything at all?
Fantastic evening. Well-talented, well-rounded martial artist. And my thought is he should be back sometime. Yeah, so we can all learn more. So,
Thanks, Hanshi. Sensei Suino.
I'm going to make a few comments about things that you said tonight, Hanshi, just so everybody makes sure they hear them, and I know Randy will probably do the same. I loved the story about making nunchaku from a broom handle. That was amazing. That's so wonderful. And I really love the story about you wandering Japan with backpacks, with no money, and just going any place where they'd let you train. That sounds like a dream come true to me.
Fantastic, yeah.
I think the whole world needs to hear and understand what you said about children. You said one of the purposes of martial arts is to build the life of this person before we put him into the world, him or her, into the world of adults. That's a huge responsibility and something that I think we can all work to do better at. And then just to go away with what Sean said, during hard times, every one of us needs to remember, you are a martial artist, be strong, act like one. That's what I got.
Thank you, Sensei Suino. Really appreciate that in your words as well. Sensei Dauphin.
Yeah, Hanshi Sailly, I always write a bunch of notes for everybody because I want to prove that I was listening and that I learned something from you tonight. I really like the thought of you and your father doing martial arts together and how you could actually describe Randori with him in a very like all your senses, the look of your father, the feel of your father, the smell of your father while you were doing. That's a great thing. And if we have close relationships, we all can probably think of ways we relate to that. You are the person who has talked most on this call about the pedagogy of teaching. As a matter of fact, you're the only person that we've had on that's actually said pedagogy, which is something. I work at a university and I usually only hear that term at a university. And it's nice to hear somebody who's intelligent talk about the pedagogy of teaching and how it has to evolve and be different. I also want to say you speak really good English, Hanshi. Your English is great. And I actually really enjoyed your accent as well. Like I found it very pleasing to listen to as we were talking tonight. I think it's really cool that when you were 15 years old, you were thrust into being a teacher. What a great situation to be in, that somebody just shoves you to the front and says, no, you're going to do this. And then happily that turns out to be your life's mission. And they start dragging you around all over the place to be taught. I really like what you said about Hanshi Therien. Everybody on this call can agree with you on what a great person he is. But I also like the fact that your father said to you, no, you're not going because it's school first, education first, and then you can go do your sports. I like that you said in your next 5 years, again, the pedagogy of teaching, that you want to be a better teacher and you want to take care of your body. And I don't know, I might be paraphrasing this, but one of the things I took from your teaching, along what Sensei Suino was saying about taking youth, is that we're kind of sometimes the last stop as martial arts teachers. The regular school teachers have already failed, parents have maybe failed, and then we find these kids in our dojos. And I like what you said about how we are the last stop for them to get them back on track and get them out into the world. I like that. I relate to that very strongly. I really like when you said about Sambo and wrestling. Just tell me the rules. Fighting is fighting. I just want to get in there and fight. I like that. It's a really interesting image. I aspire to be able to teach so many seminars that somebody will bring me horse milk as a reward. And 300 people will come to the station to wish me well as I leave. I also like what you said, don't praise too much. I agree with that completely. People know what they're doing good. They don't need you to tell them. They need you to tell them what they're not doing good and to help them. And I like that you said, just choose a different word. So I'll share with you, Hanshi Sailly, that Sensei Legacy's word is power, lots of power. When somebody's saying, wow, look at that person, look how good they are, lots of power, right? And obviously the thing that resonates with me, and I'll share it with you, Hanshi Sailly, we've gone into lockdown here again. And this morning I woke up and I was not very happy about it. And it was good to hear you say, hey, are you a martial artist? Take the last 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 years and show me that you're a martial artist. Today was the right day for me to hear that. And I'm going to take that lesson and I'm going to show everybody this place is going to be around for a long time.
Thanks, Sensei Dauphin. Sensei Sailly, I just want to point out 2 things for me. You know, you talked about wanting to see Hanshi Therien. You don't get to see him at that thing. And then literally 2 years later, you finally meet him. I believe it was 2 years. And I don't think there's a ton of people super young on this call, but you know, you can't just look up Hanshi Therien on Instagram. You can't just find him and friend him on Facebook. If he's not in your country again, or you're not in his, you don't see the man. And I think that's something where I think it's a faded relationship. And I think it's something where I really admire that that's something that you kept as a motor to meet this person and train with this person. You know, I mean, I think I have the shortest relationship of anyone on this call, which is with Sensei Suino. And from the time I've met him till today, it's still 24 years, I think, something like that. And the idea that you met Hanshi back in the 70s, it just, I can't wait till I can say the same kind of numbers. It really makes me smile, and it makes my motor for these types of relationships. And again, it's funny because I talked about it at the beginning with Sensei Suino and direct transmission. I can't wait to meet you in person, hopefully in your country, actually. In any case, I really can't wait to form these relationships, not on screens, and have that direct transmission. And then the other thing for me that I'm just like, it's all the things between the techniques. You talked about that so much. There's this thing that then makes everything between the techniques matter. Food tastes better. Friendships are better. And nobody has ever tried to steal my wallet, but this thing has saved my life multiple times. And when you talked about that, I really hear that, and I really agree with you. The last word before, you know, we'll finish after with some housekeeping, Sensei, but what do you want to go out with? What do you want to say?
Life is fabulous. Okay. Well, we do martial arts because we want to have a better life. Okay. In your back, you are l'amour. You know, yeah. L'amour, ayez l'amour de tout. Try to have love for everything you are doing in your life. And if you put love in everything you are doing, you have success and life is more easy, I think.
Wow, what a beautiful thing to say. Thank you. And we're all going to say a few more thanks before we go. For now, I want to throw things to Sensei Dauphin to let us know what we can expect in the coming weeks.
Well, okay, so the next 2 things is we have Sensei John Gage. I'm going to be super bold and say he's a good friend of mine. He's a better friend to Sensei Suino, but I've known him for a really long time, super skilled martial artist. And we've been begging him to come on here. And it's not that he didn't want to come on. There are other things going on. Sensei Suino, did you want to talk directly about Sensei Gage next week? 5 o'clock again.
Yeah. Just for a moment, Gage Sensei will be on next week again at a 5 p.m. start time. Gage Sensei is my senior in martial arts in many ways, and after training in Michigan for many years, he went to Tokyo before I did, and then I followed him there. That wasn't what I was doing, but you know, he kind of blazed the trail for me. And even though I stayed there for 4 years, and I've been back to Japan many times, Gage Sensei stayed in Tokyo for 29 years, studying Nihon Jujitsu, Judo, Shotokan Karate, Yoshinkan Aikido, and many other things. And he was the first lieutenant to Sato Shizuya Sensei, who's the founder of Nihon Jujitsu. He has an amazing story, and for many reasons, I've been begging him to come on the show. I just think history needs to know that story. So yeah, just another guest that is going to blow the minds of our audience.
Yeah, and then the week after that, we're going to do another host chat, which might have a bit of a spin to it. So you'll just all have to sign in to see what the bit of that spin would be. Maybe, for example, the host chat might be us talking to some of the instructors that are going to be at World Martial Arts Live. Maybe some of them might be coming on to chat with us. And again, I want to promote that event. It's a very important event. It's important for the dojos. It's important for the students. It's important globally. I think it's really important that everybody sees us together, working together as a global community, working together to try and keep this going. And if you're just a student, not just a student, that's the best title you can have, right? That's legacy, a student. But if you're a student, you might have the opportunity to train with somebody like Hanshi Sailly, who you never would have had the chance to have seen ever in your entire life. But you could be here in Canada and train with Hanshi Sailly in Belgium. You could be in Australia and train with somebody in Japan. You can be in England and train with Sensei Suino in Michigan. It's a really cool event. It's going to bring a lot of people together in a way. And we're going to be maybe talking about that a little more next week.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Sensei Dauphin. What an incredible set of things we have coming up. The last thing I want to say is that, hi, I'm Don Warner from WarnerEntertainment.com. Proud to be one of the sponsors of Punch, Kick, Choke, Chat. We encourage you to visit our website at WARRENER entertainment.com. Get your free copy of Warriors Magazine today. We have over 2,500 downloads, including books, DVDs, rare posters, lots more, featuring some of the biggest names in the martial arts. Here, Shotokan's Hidekazu Kanazawa, Goju Ryu's Chuck Merriman, Ninja Stephen Hayes, legendary Joe Louis. That's just the beginning. WarnerEntertainment.com. Thanks for listening. Keep smiling. And it is a nice supplement what we said. Like, we talk about direct transmission, but we are in an online world right now. And the idea that you can go and access all this stuff, it really is incredible. And I never take for granted that we had to fight pretty hard to find a single copy of a book back in the day. And so we're real happy to have that sponsorship and that promotion coming from him. And in any case, I just want to thank you all. When you come and meet us at different times, it speaks to the very thing we're talking about. Dojos move, teachers move cities. Martial arts aren't always easy to find. Sometimes we're at 8:30, sometimes we're at 9. Tonight we're at 5, and it means a lot to us that you come with us because this is a version of a dojo, a verbal dojo, and as we move and you come with us, we can't thank you enough. Without you watching, we don't have the show. We'd still be chatting, but the show is because of you watching. So thank you so much. And we really look forward to seeing you next week on our next interview.
Thanks, everybody.
Everybody, Hanshi, so
Thanks,
great to talk
Hanshi
to you.
Sailly.
Thank
Thank you, everybody, and see you soon.